Now I can
Oh,
hear you all
there.
of a sudden. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I can
Okay, great.
I
How are
hear
you?
you. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, sorry about the mess there, Pat. How are you doing, man? How are things over there?
Mm, Getting scary, actually. Getting nuts.
Yeah, I was just watching your streams, and I mean, to be honest, I was when I asked you to be on the show, I kind of just I wanted to just talk to you, maybe get to know you a little bit. But if you if you don't mind, I wouldn't mind just digging right into these documents that you've put out, because I feel like my comprehension of them is not great, and I think a lot of my listeners, if they were to look through it, they would feel the same way. Um, can you kind of tell me what exactly this document means?
I can say basically what that is. Those are marching orders. Those are 100% orders to follow through with Project Vector, which is the implementation of the vaccine on the citizens of Canada using military coordination. That's a letter sent from General Vance, the top general of the Canadian Armed Forces, who is a who is taking lead from Trudeau to make sure that all citizens get this.
Now, when I was looking through it, the word mandatory or mandate um, is not big in this document, because I've been hearing on CTV that the army is going to aid, and everybody that's so scared of corona, they're going to line up to get this Bill Gates vaccine, but that it's going to go to those who want it. What makes you confident in saying that it's going to be mandated?
Well, yeah, because Project Laser, which was put in place back in last March, which
Hmm.
was the first initial phase of the pandemic response, Project Laser basically states that they can seize all assets and they can seize your home, your car, they can seize everything, your children, if you don't get a vaccine. They've implemented rules for this. It may not say mandatory, but what it's going to do is going to hinder everyday movement that you are allowed to do and what you can and can't do.
Hmm.
You won't be able to go into the stores. You'll have to have everything delivered to your house. They're basically going to restrict everything that your everyday freedoms to go ahead and basically get on in life. But what they're going to do is they're going to make it so hard for you to not be able to go to a movie theater because you're going to need a pass.
Hmm.
You're not going to be able to go to the grocery store without a pass. You're not going to be able to, buy groceries. You're not going to be able to drive your car on the roads. If you get pulled over and you don't have a pass, then they arrest you. Project Laser, which is funny because in Project Laser, when they put it out last March, we were talking about it and discussing it and how it's basically pinpointing, laser pointing on exactly what they're going to do to you if you don't follow their mandates, if you don't follow what they recommend. But now you go into the website right now and you go to look and see where this all is, and they've wiped that. They've wiped it from the website when you were able to go in and look. So now that even scares me even more. The
Hmm.
fact that they've been able to erase this kind of stuff that they had in it. And we know we had it. And we just missed it because we didn't screenshot it. And we were hoping that we would have it, and we can't find it now. We tried to warn people a long time ago, but we didn't think, you still have that hope in humanity that government gets their heads out of their asses and they stop this before it happens. Well, nah, she's a full military operation now.
Yeah, yeah. Now, a lot of that stuff you're describing, because it's like, on one hand, it's, yeah, you can't go to the movie, and that is scary. You can't go to the movies, and you can't, like, go out for dinner with your wife and kids, that kind of stuff. But a lot of these things are private institutions. I mean, for now, right? I mean, I understand that they're kind of ending that, but what role does the government play in in getting private business to mandate it for them? You know what I mean? What's their role in that? How are they going to
So
do
the
it?
government basically is hiding on everything that they have not been doing, and but now they're going to say and do what the government's supposed to do and do what's in the best interests of the people.
Hmm.
And being that it's in the best interests of the people, then they've basically opened the door that the government can now dictate and tell you what you can and can't do. Basically a totalitarian, authoritarian government. Basically, you do as we say, you toe the line. If you don't, we're going to make life hell for you, along with our police officers. But with this rollout that's starting tomorrow, so tomorrow what they do is they start up, say, 0600 hours, December 2nd. They go into the war rooms. They're going to sit in these war rooms for 9 days at 24 hours a day, going through every worst case scenario, every best case scenario. What if everybody complies? Then it's what if this and that and that? What's project outline? Okay, what if nobody complies? And what are we to do then? Well, then you form military blockades. You go door to door. Basically, this is the implementation of martial law.
Mm-hmm.
That was what is coming down. Now the government has gone and used this to hide it under, we've known for years that the government does not do what's in the best interest of the people. They do what's in the best interest of the party, and they toe the party line. But now they're going to hide under the guise because they've hidden COVID as a saving grace. It's wear your mask, and people who don't wear their mask, well, they're insensitive and they're rude, so now you've got basically what you've heard. I don't know how much you've heard on the news and stuff about all of this, but you watch how many people are wearing these masks knowing damn well that this isn't anything worse than a common cold.
Yeah.
Your survival rate is more than what the rate of the vaccine is. The survival rate is 99.997%. The CDC and the WHO have all already said that. The governments have already said that. You've got the vaccine that they supposedly have is only 90% effective. So your numbers are all through the charts. They're off the roof. They're the same numbers as last year, maybe a couple more depending on population fluctuation, murders, deaths, natural deaths, suicides, which we know the amount of suicides have increased across the globe, especially in Vancouver, drug overdoses, stuff like that. So you look at things like that and you go, and these numbers aren't right. Okay, what is the purpose of this? Why do you guys want to do this? So you dig deeper and deeper and deeper, and you investigate what Project Laser is, what Project Vectus is, what Project, the main one, I can't remember it at the minute.
Don't worry, man. You got a lot.
There's the three different projects.
You've got quite the burden, my man. You really do. Like, you carry a lot. You carry a lot on your shoulders. How's your head dealing with all this? Are you feeling
my head or my hand?
No,
because I punched the wall a few times.
Yeah, I don't doubt it, man. You're like Canadian Alex Jones a little bit, man. You're just like you got the truth, and now you got to figure out what to do with it, right?
Well, I can tell you this much. It took a lot of guts, and it doesn't. I usually don't get too intimidated by documents. I don't get too intimidated by some of the stuff. I have no problems getting in the middle of, authoritarian faces, getting in the middle of the politicians' faces. I have no problems with that. But today I had to really get together with all my groups and some really serious patriots and ask them, what do I do this? Do I dump this out, and do I just give it the gusto and tell everybody basically this is what it is? Or do I sugarcoat it and try and be, I guess, somewhat sympathetic and empathetic to people's feelings? Or do I just call it out as well? My best bet is to just call it out as it is. I got the balls up today to dump it. And now it's out there. It's in the realm. It's there to be looked at and seen for what it's worth. People got two decisions now. Basically, it's come down to you have two decisions now in life. You can either choose to stand up and say no, or you can choose to sit back and do as they tell you.
Yeah.
It's cut and dry. Now, am I saying to stand up and fight and rise up? Well, that's a decision that morally people in Canada are going to have to make on their own. That decision does not belong to me, but the decision for me to get this information out is my civic duty as a patriot, as a Canadian citizen, to at least inform the masses of what's going on. If I don't do that, and then I feel that if I let that go by, then I'm just as guilty as them, and I will never go to their level. I will never stoop to their level. So people can love to hate me or they can hate to love me. It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I know where I stand, man. I really do. Like I've been out hitting the streets like from the very beginning and trying to just because I don't know what else to do. I really don't. I've been going to these protests, but you know what, man? We had like 400 people in Kelowna last weekend.
Nice.
People are really starting to wake up, and it's just a big party. But it's, I'm worried that we might be a little late. We might be a little late because a lot of the people around me, as much support as there is, a lot of people, they're begging for it, man. They're begging for this reset. That's what they think is best, and they're gonna watch it happen. And I've lost friends over this shit, but I can't sit back. It's
The reset, and this is our duty now. Is basically is we got to educate, but still at the same time protect ourselves. The reset isn't anything like anybody thinks it is. The reset is exactly what it is. It's a reset. We will no longer be Canadian. We're so bankrupt right now that it's not even funny. Our government's bankrupt us so bad that what's going to happen is they are going to reset to another entity, let's say, which,
sure.
and if I throw the two syllable or the two alphabet letters out there that everybody loves to hear, loves to hate to hear, people call you crazy, but basically we're tying all of this right to one body, one organization, and one group in particular. And it's the United Nations, and it's the one world government. No, it's not the WCW wrestling team where Hulk Hogan and Randy the Macho Man Savage come in and say NWO, kiss it kind of thing. No, this is a governance body that you do not elect, that determines and dictates what you're going to do for the rest of your life. Whether I survive to see that day is still to be said, but my kids and my grandkids are going to. And what kind of Canadian would I be? What kind of legacy would I leave for my children if I allowed this to happen? At least I can say that I tried.
Yeah.
That's about all it's devastating what's happening.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And I feel the same way. I keep thinking about what am I going to say 20 years from now? You know what I mean? Because at the beginning, I remember when I first started going to protests, it was me and like 6 other boomers. You know what I mean? These like old people that are holding like vaccine is death sign, and like, I'm 24 years old and I'm out there, and like all of a sudden I'm on global news, and like these things are happening, and I had a lot of doubt, quite often at the beginning, but I saw this. I knew that this was a globalist movement. I knew it because of people like you that tell the truth. You know what I mean? And I feel the same way. We got to look back and know that we did something, and maybe we can make a difference. Maybe we can.
Well, like I said, there's 2 choices to this, and it's basically that's where it's come down to. The 2 choices that we have, and the 2 choices are that stand up and say no, which is the most powerful word in your English vocabulary, is the word no. Know your rights, of which you can use. What we're going to have to start exercising, which is in our passport, in our Canadian passport, in the very first page of your Canadian passport, there's a saying, and it says, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Canada requests in the name of Her Majesty the Queen, all those whom it may concern, to allow the bearer to pass freely, without delay or hindrance, and to afford the bearer such assistance and protection as may be necessary. So as a Canadian citizen, as a Canadian law enforcement, as Canadian military, this document should supersede whatever they say by allowing me to pass freely into any place I want to go, whether it's a Walmart, whether it's a mom and pop store, whether it's a restaurant. If they say I can't go in there, well, why does my constitutional right say that I can?
Right.
And if you're not going to abide by the constitutional right, well, then I don't need to abide by your laws and your rules. So it's going to get messy. It's going to get ugly, unfortunately. The bad part about it is some really good people are going to get hurt. And I got to pull myself away from that responsibility of, okay, I put it out there, but everybody is responsible for their own actions. And that's why I say it the best is you got 2 choices to make. And I'm not trying to fearmonger, and I'm not trying to scare anybody, but you either sit back and allow it to happen, or you stand up and stop it.
Yeah.
And you say no. And that's about as cut and dry as it gets. Whether you say no and you just walk away, or you say no and you go down swinging.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, man, my take on it is that we need to take back the supply chains. So it's like, instead of getting this Bill Gates vaccine so that I can go to Costco and buy hot dogs, I'm just like, I'm starting to branch out and talk to local guys. Like I shot a deer this year, right? And the butcher shop won't take it. So instead of like crapping my pants, I met this guy. The butcher shop won't take it because I'm going to give him coronavirus, right? Which is hilarious. But I found this guy, he's a local, he's got a farm, and he built a butcher shop just out of a sea can. So I went in there and I skinned it and I did my thing, and I bought him a bottle of whiskey. And like, I think if we can all do that with our food and with our vegetables, I think that we'll be okay. I really do. Like, I don't, cause like you're familiar with Proud Boys, right?
Yeah.
I was talking about in my podcast the other day, because like I wrote a song about how I like the Proud Boys. I like that stuff. But I wrote a song about how like I was talking about in one of my episodes how I don't want to join the Proud Boys and then like go down swinging for my right to go to the strip club and my right to go to bars. And like, I want to put myself in a position where I'm going to fight for my right to grow my food and practice my religion and protect my wife and my kids. You know what I mean? And I think the answer is to just take back the supply chains, because right now it's an offer. It's like a corporate offer. Do you know what I mean? Or do you think it goes deeper than that?
It goes a lot deeper than that. Unfortunately, I love your optimism. That's fantastic. I really do wish it was that, but unfortunately, it goes a lot deeper. The genetically modified seeds that don't seed when you plant your crops, so you're constantly having to buy seeds that have been altered, chemically altered, genetically altered. Basically, that's what the vaccine's going to do.
Right.
Vaccine is actually designed to genetically alter our human DNA.
I've been hearing that. I don't understand it, but I keep hearing that.
I don't understand it on a scientific level, but I do understand it on the way they're using it, and the way they're fast tracking it and fast pacing it to get out so quickly. There's nanoparticles in it. It's not a vaccine per se as what we would think as polio or tuberculosis or something like that. This is something that's going to attach to your immune system and attach to your genetic code. And basically it can do so many different things. But when you start to alter the human DNA, therefore you no longer own your body. You are going to be basically Mitch 2.0. You know what I mean? Like,
one is enough. One is enough for this world. We don't need.
But that's what it'll come down to. And people want to say, "Oh, that's Star Trek shit." That's
right.
That's shit out of friggin' sci-fi movie. Well, a lot of the stuff that's happening in this and the documents and stuff that are coming out. Holy cow. It's a lot to soak in, and I believe what I'm seeing, because these are actual doctors that are coming right out and saying this, right? But then as soon as they say it, they're blackballed, they're gone, they're off the internet, they're out of their business. Well, in my own experience in dealing with what I've done over the last years, as soon as I hit the nail on the head, I start to get doxxed, I start to get hit, I start to get told, you're a white supremacist, right? You're a racist, you're this and you're that. And that's getting so old now. It's not even funny, but when you're hitting the nail on the head. When they are starting to stop the president of the United States for talking on Twitter, and if you don't think there's a deep state, they're not in it. Like Sean said tonight on my live feed, and for your viewers or for your audience, they may not have saw it, but Sean is a former PPCLI soldier who's done tours in Afghanistan, who has worked for the government on a military level. And he's absolutely right. The government does not give a shit about you. Yeah. They don't care what you feel like. They don't give a shit about your feelings as much as they preach participation trophies and we care and we want to put you in bubble wrap and make sure you're protected. It's not for you. It's for them. And as soon as you're no good for you to them anymore, well, then you're gone. You're ousted, right? So it's how expendable can they use the human, or use the population of Canada, and that's basically what they're doing. They're looking at projected down 50, 100 years down the road of what they'll be able to do. So you start putting the stuff in your body, and then you start reproducing, and then symptoms become, not symptoms, but we thought autism was bad
Right.
on the onset of vaccines. No, this is going to be a lot worse.
Yeah, I honestly, man, I don't know. I don't know what to expect, and I don't know what to tell people to expect. I just know that they, like, the numbers up to this point, the cases, the deaths, all this, it's all been sketchy at best, and now we're here, and they've developed a coronavirus vaccine in 1 year, and it just so happens to get released the day after the US election. You know what I mean? Like these things just don't, there's too much. And so that's all I need to know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to understand what it's going to do or how bad it is or how good it is. I'm not taking it, man. I don't care what they say.
Here's my deal. You can divide society, and you can change society, and you can do what you want, but we live in a free society. Why can't myself and other people who feel safe without a mask on do like what they do when the water's low and you on the other side of the street get to water your grass this day, and then you got odd even days? Well, why can't people who want to wear a mask go wear their mask and go to the store, and then on the next day, well, we alternate, and the people who don't want to wear a mask can go?
Sure.
That could be easy. That could be pretty simple thing.
It's because it's theater, right? It's all theater, the whole thing. That's why, like, people are so funny. They'll complain, like my friends that are like pretty much communist, right? Like, these people are highly educated, but we go out to a restaurant, and they'll complain. They'll be like, why? I can't believe we have to wear a mask from the door to the table, and then we can take it off. And they don't see it. It's just because it's theater. It's compliance training, and do it, they still trust this, like, daddy state,
I feel too that, and I said this a lot, and I always put a precursor before it. I don't want to sound sexist. I don't want to sound like one gender against the other gender, even though there are only two genders. I don't care what you say. Either or. There's a lot of demasculinity in men, and men used to have that not authoritarian, but that assertiveness about them, that fuck that, I'm not going to deal with that, or this something wrong here, I don't believe you, you're full of shit. But now everybody's afraid to speak up, everybody's afraid to complain. I don't know the last time I've seen somebody send a meal back at a restaurant because they didn't like it, but I sure heard them bitch about it the whole night. Well, how their meal was horrible.
Yeah.
But you don't see that anymore. You don't see the actual masculine alpha male type personalities anymore.
It's that soy. I'm convinced.
Right. But, I agree.
What's
I've never been on your show. I've never been on your streams here, so I don't know what I can and can't say. So I'm really watching what I can say here.
Yeah, no worries, man. I should have mentioned we're on THOUGHTCRIMES.CA. That's a URL that me and my guy Jack run, and we're on the Jack Klassen Show radio network. So this gets broadcast on AM and FM down in the USA, but we're banned in Canada. So it'll get bleeped when it's of course, but it'll get bleeped for that radio, and then it just gets put out on all streaming platforms and THOUGHTCRIMES.CA. You can say whatever the fuck you want, man.
Right on.
That's kind of a big part of my brand, is that I want to legalize thought crimes, because like I came out as a rapper. It sounds like I'm gonna say I'm gay or something. I'm like, I came out like I'm a rapper, everybody, and I started putting out music. Everyone's like, oh, this is so cool. And then I put out this Proud Boy song, and all these people, they're trying to get me fired, and I just, like, the people crap their pants, and they have no idea that the Proud Boys, like, first of all, it started as a joke by Gavin McInnes, you know what I mean? And like, it's just a pro man group, like, that's it,
it's a fraternity.
But they'll come at you so hard. And even I was talking to Jack, like Jack Klassen Radio Network. I was like, oh man, I got this guy. He's big league Pat King. He's gonna come on my show. And he goes, oh, is it this guy? And he sends me your it's like the Antifa.com, like they call
Canada's favorite white supremacist.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah. And me and Jack are just laughing, like, oh, I bet he's like so scary. Hey, like here you are, like.
Yeah, no, it's been blown out of proportion, and actually, I'm actually wanting to take these guys on a class action lawsuit for what they've done. I have
Awesome.
media retracting statements. I have them openly saying that I'm a white supremacist, not even close. It's gotten to be their only narrative that they can use against me, because the stuff that I'm saying is really, really important and it's really true. And that's what I'm saying. As soon as you start hitting the nail on the head, this is what they come at you with. If I'm speaking about environment and I'm speaking about oil and gas industry and I'm speaking about how my industry out here in Alberta is devastated and we need to get these pipelines in the ground, we need to start punching holes in the ground again, or Alberta's going to be done. Then I get hit with the Greta Thunberg and the carbon tax, and I get that kind of, it's called cancel culture, right?
Yeah.
So now I start speaking up about the government, and I don't like the government, and I think these laws and this laws and these bills and that, and they're wrong, and this government's totalitarian and this and that. Then I get hit with the, oh, you're a racist, you're a white supremacist.
Yeah.
So it's a no-win situation when you want to deal with cancel culture. But now what they've done is they've gone as far as the mainstream media wants to pick this up because they're getting scared. They know I'm onto them. I'm actually going for a class action lawsuit against the media as well. And then I'm as well the CRTC. So the CRTC is going to be put on check because they're the ones who are the licensing body that give the approval for these guys. You got to remember, news agencies were formulated so that they would give a non-biased, open discussion, 50-50 conversation. That's what news was before. That's what news was before. Now it's not even close. Now they don't even fact check. Most stories take upwards of a year to put out. But what they're doing with these stories now is I found this on the internet and out it goes, and we don't even care if it's not true. We'll write a retractment later. Mm-hmm. But they have to. They're totally driving, and we've seen this with the purchase of them. Trudeau spent $600 million buying the media here in Canada, and it's over $1 billion now. Yeah. Once the government owns your media, your ability to use your free speech is gone out the window. And somebody else warned us about that years ago, and that was John F. Kennedy. And after he did that, he was assassinated. Yeah. So a lot of people forgot about that aspect of it, but a lot of us still harsh, critical thinkers, outside the box thinkers. We know this stuff and we've seen it, but it's amazing how much the population in this world today has been so brainwashed and so zombified. I know it's not a word, but that's my words. They're zombified. They got tunnel vision, and as soon as the tunnel vision opens up a little bit more, boom, it's an anxiety attack. But nobody realizes that when that anxiety attack you're feeling, that's your gut instinct.
Yeah.
If you know about your gut instinct got you through life this far because it's a way of your sixth sense of your body telling you how to protect yourself. It's danger, something, get out of there. And I believe that's why these teachers have been teaching it in the education system for these kids to touch with your feelings, and it's okay to have these, and it's just an anxiety attack. Is the dumbing down of our society and teaching people not to be able to use their gut anymore, and not, it'll basically, I don't know, man.
Well,
I don't know.
They got pills for that, right? They got a pill to stop that from happening. But I think I'm convinced, I'm dead set convinced that the biggest problem that we face is the language, man, for sure. Because that these words, the racist, sexist, bigot, homophobe, it's like they stop discussion so fast because like you start thinking critically about some of this stuff, and all of a sudden you're a thought criminal, and thought police will come after you, and that's where that cancel culture comes in. Because it's like
the thought police have actually come to my house.
No way.
A form of RCMP.
Oh my Lord, man. It's nuts. Because like because if you think about it, it's like, well, Trudeau's importing, what is it, 250,000 people every year? Is it 300,000?
340 to 360,000 illegal immigrants every year.
Yeah, so it's like he's importing his voter base. So, but the moment you start talking about it, you're a racist, and it's like the banks are inflating the housing. So me and my generation can never buy a house, and they're fucking us over.
Especially in Kelowna.
Oh yeah,
Your numbers
man.
are out of this world. You have to walk out of university making $50 an hour just to buy a house in Kelowna, and then you're stuck in it. I know. I'm very familiar with Kelowna.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's nuts, man. And like, but the minute you start criticizing the banks, you're an anti-Semite. You know what I mean? And same with the media. They've got all these like decency terms, and like they coat all their like nonsense in this like fake virtue. So, and they use these like virtue words to just shut down discussion. But a lot of like people are waking up, man. Like you get it, you see it.
If you're not towing the media's line, if you're not doing what the media wants to see, I watched a video where, okay, so I had the Antifa episode where we basically punched them out. And I can say this because they're going to court. And their Black Lives Matter organizer hit one of our guys with a weapon. We got the media calling me a white supremacist and everything. And then I go and give a media report of a full page press release, and a girl who pretends that she's a horse and runs around and like jumps. I know.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
Yeah, she jumps like a horse. She got 5 minutes on the news. My little clip of my press conference talking about cancel culture got 2 seconds.
Sure.
That's it.
It's horrible, man.
This girl can pretend to be a horse and run around, and that got more airtime than a serious altercation where Antifa is trying to overrun our town, and our community is, basically scared because they're coming in and they're threatening them, and they're threatening to hit them and hurt them. And we brought the muscle. I don't know. What do you want to say? We told you, get out of our city, get out of our town.
Yeah. Good for you. God bless you guys. I think that's great. I don't want them here. I don't want these guys here. These black hood, black bandana, like fucking dummies. I'm not down. I'm not down.
They're called the Tan Clan now because they act just like the KKK did.
That's great. That's great.
So they're the Tan Clan. But the one thing that they didn't realize, and one thing that they're not familiar with, if I can find it here, is one of their very famous and very outspoken civil rights leaders back in the day. I won't even tell you who the name of it is, but he says this exact same thing. He says, this is the media, and irresponsible media. It will make the criminal look like he's the victim, and to make the victim look like he's the criminal. If you aren't careful, the media will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing.
Wow.
It's sort of a propaganda tactic that I would call psychological warfare. And that was Malcolm X. Malcolm X said that the biggest, loudest, largest African-American freedom fighter, freedom of speech, freedom of racism said, and you're seeing this exact narrative play out under the guise of color. This has nothing to do with color anymore. This has nothing to do with race. It has to do with the human race. Don't go and tell people that. You tell people this is about the human race. Well, now you're racist.
Absolutely.
You're ignorant.
Yeah. Uneducated, and someone who's been thoroughly educated for 16 years plus will have to educate you, when they haven't done anything. They sat behind a desk their whole life. They don't know.
Yeah, it's getting sad.
But you know what, man? I just appreciate what you're doing. And so, like, just a short story I want to tell the people is that in at the Vancouver rally, the mega rally there a little while back, you'll probably remember if I start talking about it. I was down over on the sidewalk. I was like rapping my music with my sign, and you were there. I just met you, and some kid comes up and he taps me on the shoulder and he starts trying to hurt my feelings. He starts going, "Oh, your mom should have fucking aborted you. You're a real piece of shit. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you." And I was like, this was the first big protest I'd ever been to. I was kind of taken aback, like, holy shit, like what, who hurt you, man? Like, are you all right? And you know, I kind of like chatted with him for a bit, and then he moved on to you. And I remember you said something, something to him, and he starts screaming and going like, he's like, "I'm gonna fucking cut you," and he's like going for his knife. And man, that look in your eyes, like I could tell like what you're about, because you were not about to hit him first, but I could see that look, like you were hoping he'd hit you.
I wanted him to hit me, yeah, because I was just going to tune him out. I had told his mom, I said, "Way to go, mom. That's how you allow your son to speak
Right.
to perfect strangers." And he just wow, like just went off, and that's exactly it. Like he was either he wasn't hugged enough as a child, or he was unfortunately touched as a child. I don't know. That kid had something definitely wrong with him.
Yeah, well, I've tried to think, because I was thinking like maybe his dad died of COVID, or you know what I mean? Like trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, but it was
Yeah.
just all, it was like honestly like demon possession, man. That guy was
I was
so.
I was just gonna say that actually, and this is where you hear a lot of people talk about this being biblical.
Yeah.
Well, there's a good entity and there's an evil entity, and people who suffer from mental health issues, unfortunately, are very weak-minded, which allows evil to infiltrate and take over weak-minded people. And that's what you saw. What you saw that day was pure evil spewing venom out of that young man's mouth, to the point that he was going to stab me.
True. Yeah. Truly evil.
Because I was going to inform security of what he was doing down at the sidewalk there.
Yeah.
And then I was, yeah, well, you start saying stuff like that to me, I'm going to take you out. I don't care who you are.
Yeah. Well,
You're gonna get it.
I'm glad to hear your take on that, because I follow Jesus, right? I'm into the Bible and all that kind of stuff. But I sure believe that. I believe that that's what that is. That's in some form or another, some kind of demon possession. I usually don't bring stuff like that up, not because I'm afraid of it. I don't want people usually check out, because they think that you're trying to save them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I try to keep.
No, I hear you.
Quiet with that.
I got to really be careful with it as well sometimes, because people just kind of look at you like a dog and they're like, "Oh,
yeah,
what are you talking about?" But this isn't a battle between each other. This is a battle between good and evil right now, and this is definitely a spiritual, a biblical time in our lives that I believe that a lot of people better be getting in touch with their freaking higher power very quickly, very soon.
For real, man.
Yeah, because you're gonna be down on bended knee begging, and unfortunately, a lot of people talk a good talk, and they say, "Hey, I won't get a vaccine. I'll stand right up." You're gonna still say that when you got a C7, Canadian military issue C7 pointed at your forehead? No, you're gonna be on bended knee begging for God.
Yeah,
you better get right by your Creator fast.
I sure think so, man. I sure think so. But it's not all bad. Like it's there's a lot of good coming with this. Like a lot of people have become closer, and these networks that have popped up. There is some beauty to it, and but it's biblical. It's like you say, we're really fucked in a lot of ways. But
yeah.
I don't know. I think that like you say, if enough people can kind of come to their senses, get in touch with their Creator, we'll move on as a mankind, and hopefully be freer than we were before.
Well, that's why I try and kill. I use it absolutely. I know it's a petty slogan, but kill them with kindness. You try and you try and you try, but the bad part of it is I know what's coming down the pipeline, and kindness ain't gonna get us there.
Yeah. Well, time will tell. Pat, thank you so much for coming on, man. I sure appreciate it.
You betcha. Thanks. I know it's late here. It's got to be late there. It's midnight there, 1 o'clock here.
Yeah. I think we're 12 o'clock here, but it's
yeah.
Man, I really appreciate it. And thanks for everything that you're doing. You've got the full support of THOUGHTCRIMES.CA and the Jack Klassen Radio Network. If you ever need anything promoted, man, please hit me up. I'll never, try to get money out of you or anything. I love your message, and I want to get it out.
That being said, I can say this much. I don't know when this is going to be out, but this Saturday we're celebrating our 100th week of protesting here in Red Deer, Alberta.
God bless you guys, man. That's great.
Another 4 more weeks, and it'll be a full 2 years for us, standing out, not missing a weekend. And we'd really love to have the love and support from all the groups to show up in Red Deer this Saturday at noon till 3 p.m. and might go even longer. We've got a great lineup of speeches, speakers and speeches is being held, barbecue and stuff. We may take tickets, we may not take tickets. We'll see what happens depending on size of the crowd. But the more people we have there, we do know that the police don't tend to bother you as much. So if we can get a pile of people, awesome. I've got people coming from Fort McMurray, Edmonton, Calgary, surrounding rural areas all around Red Deer. It's going to be epic. It's going to be a good one this weekend.
Awesome, man. I got some friends in Red Deer. I'll tell them about it. And yeah, you take it easy in the meantime, man. And I hope you don't carry this burden with you all day, every day. I hope you put it down once in a while and relax, because it's a lot. Man. It's a lot.
Third person that said that to me today, man. You need to go. You need to relax, man. That's a pretty heavy shoulders you got right now.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? If I didn't save it, if I didn't try, and let's put it this way: if I know that I saved at least one person, I can die a happy man.
God bless you, brother.
Thank you.
All right, man. You take care.
You too. Cheers.
We're the make your mama so proud boys. Sober thoughts means taking shots of LaCroix. We got brown boys, we got round boys, we got light-skinned boys, and they're driving big toys. We got boys all around the world, boys, but not one single soy boy. Shit is not allowed, boy. We are not the mild choice. We are the wild boys. We're the proud boys. We're the proud boys who might get a little wild, boy. Been repping that shit for a while, boy. Fuck with us, we might get real loud, boy. We are proud boys, I'm a fucking proud boy. Try to take our culture and we'll put you in the ground, boy. When they hurt you, they smile wide, boy. We are proud boys, protecting our town, boy. Put that thing down, boy, before I put you down, boy. Good black bandana, black umbrella, black whatever. They just wanna keep the fucking right wing off the hype scene. They think we're obscene, but we think they're on a pipe dream, like they're swimming upstream. About to run out of steam, we got the coal. Nationalist goals, nationless foes. Do you see where this goes? Melting pot up in smoke. Cause we're the proud boys who might get a little wild, boy. Been rapping that shit for a while, boy. Fuck with us, we might get real loud, boy. We are proud boys, I'm a fucking proud boy. Try to take our culture and we'll put you in the ground, boy. When they hurt you, they smile wide, boy. We are proud boys, protecting our town, boy. Put that thing down, boy, before I put you down, boy. Hyping up the crowd, boy, with my fucking wild boys. We don't like the mob boys, we don't like the soy boys. They ain't got no soul, boy. We can't do it no more, boy. Voting booth, we are annoyed. Voting booth, we are ignored. We just can't go back and forth. We gotta protect the north, or they will close all the stores. Keep those jobs up on our shores. We can't take it anymore, boy. Cause we're the proud boys who might get a little wild, boy. Been repping that shit for a while, boy. Fuck with us, we might get real loud, boy. I'm a proud boy, I'm a fucking proud boy. Try to take our culture and we'll put you in the ground, boy. When they hurt you, they smile wide, boy. We are proud boys, protecting our town, boy. Put that thing down, boy, before I put you down, boy.